Good is good is good. It's always perfect.
You know me,
Welcome,
man. I just
welcome
start hitting
again.
buttons, man. I take action.
And that's how it should. Always ready to execute.
Let's
I think
go.
we're up to a little slow start there. We have a lot again bots into the place. I have Martha coming in. I can see her. Welcome, Dr. Lisa. Happy to see you and have you as always. How's your day going so far? Oh, can you hear me?
I can.
And what about you, Omar? How are you doing today?
Good morning.
My day's splendid now that I'm here.
All right.
Ah, perfect. That warms my heart too. Thank you for saying it. Thank you for expressing it. Actually, I'm going to start when everybody's here. I'm going to start with a thank you because I think I need to express something. So we'll wait a little bit to see. I see Keisha also has joined us. Um, see a little bit. Okay, perfect. Well, we'll start positioning things as people come in and we'll pick up pace as the attendance grows. So we're back again for our Tuesday, our boiler marketing room. We'll keep that term going because I think when there's passion in the room, we get even more creatively challenged and we get to see more perspective through exchange. And I actually appreciate the exchange that we've been having so far. Um, we're going to start as regularly as we should in transition to what we've been keeping. If you have any general conversation or questions around your use of Now Site, something that you've been implementing, something that you want to bring up for a general conversation or review, we'll start with that. And if not, we'll keep in trend, dive into continuation of what we've been discussing so far. I've been meaning to go into this zone and flow conversation, but I'm still building how to roll it out so that it makes sense. As you saw last time, things can make sense in your head, but when you are rolling them out, this is when they really start being implemented. As you get the feedback from your audience, you are able to review and optimize. And this is important in terms of remaining agile in what we are doing. And this is a concept around this zone and flow, finding that rhythm to become efficient. The zone came to us, the concept of the zone came to us via Robert, who I think really deeply explained it. Um, as far as I'm concerned, as I understood it, and definitely at any point in time, Robert, you can correct me and time in on that part of the conversation. Of being in the zone is having your environment set properly, your mind set aligned, and your tools at the ready so that you can execute flawlessly on a repeat pattern joining in the process, right? In general, at least as far as my concept of applying things in the operational realm of my marketing approach, my marketing rollout, my marketing or digital marketing setup, and also the process, the journey that I want the client to follow to the expected point first of sale for the actual commitment, the transaction, and the retention environment so that they can stay and grow in the relationship with me. Um, do you want to, did I get that properly, Robert? Or, yeah,
I
please
mean, that
chime
was a
in on
great
that.
way. Everybody's
Mhm,
going to have their own like little interpretation of it, but no, I love the
mhm,
way that sounded. Yeah, it's like I like to relate it to be focused like a laser beam. So whatever it takes for you to focus like a laser beam, whether it's your environment, which should be the biggest case, because I know, again through my experience, having this house and having my own office, it has made a world of difference for me to be able to focus. If you don't have that set aside in your house, you got kids running through or a husband or wife, it's a little hard for you to, focus on what it is that you need to. So it's best to try to get your own little space, block out distractions, and then be able to focus like a laser beam. But yeah, sounds great.
Absolutely. I think it's looking for that Jekyll and Hyde environment, right? When you step into that, you become that brand, that leader, that operator, right? And
I think too, just to
right,
kind of add this just off the top of my head, just like, oh man, what's the best way to say this? Just like I would say to you, hey, find something that you're passionate about and turn that into money. Like there has to be some level of passion for what it is that you're doing, especially when it comes to marketing. For me, that's a passion. Like I love marketing. I love coming up with new ideas and creation and, seeing this, oh, that looks cool. And being able to have the tools to be able to memo it.
yeah,
Like I love the whole creative process. So you got to find some passion in it, find a little bit of love in it, and again, if you love what you do, it's not work, man. It's really not.
exactly. That actually, wow. Okay. Before you guys all came in, I was about to say that I wanted to extend a thank you to you all before we begin. Um, Thank you for so much that you've been giving me. And I think I needed to say that. This journey started, well, at the end of this month of August, it will be exactly 3 months. So a 90-day cycle or full trimester since my life started changing. And you have been here consistently with me, taking my knowledge, but giving me so much more the drive, the commitment, the consistency to be here. And I really wanted to make sure that that was said and that was shared. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. Even when I'm getting roasted and boiled, there's so much takeaway that I'm getting from that. So once again, thank you. Keep coming, keep letting it rip, and don't hesitate to reach out. I know that I have been on that part, that discipline side, the personal discipline has been a little bit all over the place in terms of balancing my passion and this new life, which is also intertwined with my passion. So thank you very much for that. Again, it's a lot of love. And I take in a lot of the feedback that you provide, and I'll show you since it's whatever I'm doing here, I do it in the intent and the objectives of sharing it with you. So even last time when I was sharing this process, trying to illustrate the whole mind frame behind this concept of understanding your business process and mapping out these execution steps, um, even as I'm going through this process of sharing it with you, I am also applying it constantly through my life endeavors and the different contracts that I am trying to consolidate currently. So there is a lot of foundational value here, and often enough, this is what we want to take a look at when we're not sure where we are in our process, in our execution, in our rollout, or just at the end of this, when we need to come back, review, optimize, and repeat the process. So there's a lot of fundamental values here. Definitely take advantage of it. I actually open up these documents every time I go into a conversation or a follow-up conversation with any new client that I'm discovering. Um, Perfect, perfect. So I wanted to say this. So with that said, I think we'll start. If you have any questions pertaining to, go ahead. Sorry, you want to add something, Vicky?
No,
Mm, perfect. So, as usual, we'll start with a round
I
of
didn't know
questions.
my voice was on. I'm sorry.
No, no apologies. Thank you. Um, so, We'll start as usually in good tradition. If you have any question pertaining to your specific use of now site problems or opportunities that you would want to bring to elaborate on during the past week, definitely we'll open up with that. If not, we'll go into the um, natural progression of our exchanges here regularly. So, any questions? Remember, you can raise your hand for your questions, or you can put them into the chat. Robert will happily answer, and if not, we'll bring it up so we can all discuss on it. I'm going to put the links where I put the updated content, although I have to apologize. I'm still a little crippled with my tech. I brought in my computer, the one I do for editing, into a fix, and what was supposed to be just a tune-up is turning into a whole walk in the desert for me. Components that they're not able to find. So, cross my fingers. I hope, get it soon enough. So I'm going to put the link soon enough in the conversation in the chat, and we'll be able to still stay informed. Perfect, perfect. So, any questions before I progress into the topic of today? Going once, going twice, going three times. Now, I'm amazed that I never have questions because I'm thinking, well, everybody's actively taking care of using NowSite, running their operation during the week, trying to optimize, and nobody ever has any questions. It means that everybody's running through this flawlessly. Go ahead, Keisha.
Okay, so I haven't done this yet. I'm thinking I'm going to use my use Gamma to create a landing page because it can do it off of the it can do it automatically for me. But I just want that to be because like Gamma does presentations, so the presentations will be my carousel posts. Then from there they can download the ebooks. If I use Gamma to create to do the lead capture, but when it's time to download, take them to NowSite. That way they can do the download from NowSite and trigger my email campaigns. Um, I'm trying to figure out how I would lay out a page like that so that I can keep them engaged and still and still kind of lead them into my funnel basically.
Okay. I
I don't have
actually
simple
love that.
questions, Deborah.
Well, it's actually a very on point question. It's going to allow me to actually segue into the whole explanation. So you're going to get your answer gradually. Does that work for you? And it's going to be a good
Works great for
exercise
me.
for
I
everybody.
love that. I love that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because yeah, keeping in mind into the topic that I wanted to discuss today, zone and flow, I want it to be a more execution type approach than just a lot of theory because we already covered most of the theory. Uh, but before we go into that, yesterday during the loss transition session, there was a conversation that came up, and I reacted, and I wanted to explore on that because I think it was important. This lead qualification conversation and the process, mapping it out so it makes clearly sense. And what you are bringing forward, getting them step by step through a process while keeping them engaged and leading them to your opt-in, whether it's the direct POS or it's just a first soft commitment, right? Is how we map out the prospect journey between defining our objective with that prospect and collecting the relevant information so that we can actually convert them, making sure that we can allow proper time for that interaction. This is in general or foundationally what I get from your dilemma, correct, Isha? Or did I
No, you're correct. You're
misunderstand?
correct.
Perfect. So it falls in line with the conversation that I wanted to have today and also reinforce that process. You saw that in the first step of answering Keisha's question, I brought up my mind frame, my work process, and looked at where exactly these two questions were, right? Before I go into the second part, which is understanding your process and implementing that process, because this is fundamentally, or at the end, where you want this action to be impacted. I want to know, well, I'm going to create my website with Gamma. That's great. That's going to get me into that zone conversation as well. Now, once I've created my website with Gamma, I want to know how or what is the structure of the prospect journey there to qualify the client through different steps, building up the interest towards the commitment. Okay, this is important. So one of the things here that you want to keep in mind is that this 5-step process can be adapted to any situation that you're trying to give answer to. At the beginning of, well, during the last transition, I also explained that I got into a new opportunity recently. Well, I am following these steps. I went there with a defined objective. I collected information. I understood what the client was looking for. I came back to implement, and I delivered the first draft to consolidate the relationship. When I was doing the work, same thing. I defined the objective, rebuilding the brand presence of this company. I did what we have covered methodically with the AI, the brand evaluation, the brand study. Now, understanding what I needed to set in motion the project and at least demonstrate the process to the client, I created some content and I rolled it up. Whenever you feel lost in your work, a good way to bring you back on track is to count your steps. Same thing. Second thing, here, coming back to that question, this is actually what I wanted to discuss yesterday because the lead conversation brings us back to this implementation of this process, right? When you're doing this through Gamma, I'm going to take this case study or this case conversation to try to explain the process and relate it to your question, Keisha. Whenever you're doing a series of qualification steps in with certain degrees of variations, what you're trying to do at first is do a micro qualification, right? There are 3 steps. You want to do a micro qualification in a sense that you want to make sure that the client is willing to commit to something soft, a few questions. But these questions are important. Yesterday, we were focusing or covering the question that we are asking the client to get the right information that we need to move the conversation or the acquisition or the transaction along. Still in that building rapport phase, right? The right questions allow you to collect the right information and bring back the right solution to the client to let themselves convince themselves, right? If you're qualifying
Correct.
people, yeah, if you're qualifying people, same should be the mind frame. We're going to start with a series of simple steps. Simple question, but I am collecting this time information that I'm going to be using to score your commitment, to score your aptitude at being able to deliver in this space, or to score the scale on which I'm going to deploy my service offer onto you. So when you're qualifying clients, the questions are made to build rapport, but they're sensitive to the information that you need to collect, right? In simple form. The rest is up to you to ask the right question to the AI based on your business opportunity, your business need, and the target audience that you have the uh, definition, the elaboration around their pain points, their needs, their interests, what moves them, relating it to your product, right? So usually in simple form, this is what you're doing. You want to set up your process or understand the different stage or again segment of your prospect journey and how it aligns with the flow of information. Question to you, Keisha, throughout these different page or this process, were you looking at acting on each possible an option if the client doesn't move forward or stays at option or the first slide instead of moving to the second or the third? Did you have alternative action taken, and did they involve all the same CRM that you're going to be using or different other integration on each page?
All right, so I have them filling out the opt-in page on Gamma because that's my Google form. So um, that puts it into a central location that I can then export into a CSV if I want to use it in a particular thing or not. But it's always mine if anybody changes their mind or what have you, right?
Perfect.
Um, that Google form fills out an Airtable. And that Airtable gives me all my options to do everything else because by making Airtable my base, I literally can program bots, I can program apps, I can program anything because all of the data is in one central location that I own that can be used in any combination.
Great choice.
Okay?
Mhm.
So, um, basically that landing page is just to get them to
Oh,
order
I
the email.
contaminated you. Basically, it's contagious these days. Sorry, I just noted that, but go ahead. I'm roasting back, people. I shoot back, but go ahead. Sorry,
It's
I
okay.
interrupt.
It's okay. I'm gonna take that because I have been saying that a lot lately. I don't know why. So
You've been
once
coming too much to the sessions. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry. Mhm.
okay, so once they filled out that form, the actual download page is a thank you page in NowSite that then leads them to a bonus page that gives them on the same subject. They get a mind map, an audio podcast, all kinds of stuff on the same subject. It's on that page and they can live on that page as long as they want
Perfect.
to.
Perfect. I
Right?
wanna, yeah, I wanna stop you for now, and that still, and we'll continue on that next part of that prospect journey because you actually illustrated what I was wanting to speak about. If you look at the what I have on the board here, you went specifically through these steps yourself. First, the process at uh, collecting their information, the Google form. Next, you have looked at and made a choice for which CRM, which AI are coming into play. And then we were going into the next step. If we stop to this three tier qualification steps here, we would be looking at the scheduling, right? The scoring here can be very arbitrary depending on what your goal is and what your scale are at determining the client's interest or commitment, right? So you see these roadmap always adhere. So if you get lost, where are we? This tool that I'm using right now at this point in time, where does it fall into the business process? Which tools are coming into this zone of execution? Picture it this way, and this becomes so important to wrap, I think, at least for me, it was very important to wrap my head around. So I want to share that with you because these days, what we should be looking at at least when we're approaching this conversation or this exercise, we have to look at ourselves as sports coach, right? We decide which AI, which player we're going to put on the field in the zone. And just like coaches that have executed, come back into the locker, looked at their gameplay to optimize it so that they can fine tune how the ball, the object of interest, flows between these different players while the play is being executed. We have to come back in that mindset. Why? Because we are the coaches on the field. We are putting many AIs that have different functionalities, different CRM, that have different interest and goal and overall impact on the flow of information in our process. And often enough, when we're hitting a hurdle, it's because the information flow is building up somewhere and there is no, or we haven't thought about the next point. If it's a manual action or if we have another AI to put in place to bridge. Make sense for everybody?
Yeah.
Especially that we have all these tools now, right, to execute quickly. And this is also one of the final value that is at the heart of this conversation around zone and flow is, just go back to that, it's this one here. This idea of being efficient. When we say be agile as entrepreneur, what we're asking you to do is actually bring together these two values, knowing how you get into your zone to execute quickly and how you flow between your tools or the information flows or your journey, the prospect journey flows so that you can repeat that properly, effortlessly, in efficient time. There's that third value that we should never forget when we're talking about agiles, right? Being agile. We have to have the right tool, we have to know our process, and we have to time ourselves properly. Right? If my tool here is good enough to execute this part of the process, then I will use this tool up to that point so that I can run this process at least up to that point. If the next step requires an automation, while I am building up a flow of conversation with the first stage of this process, I can elaborate on the rest. And even better, I can use the active feedback, the active review that I'm getting to optimize what is in play and also what is before me that is coming. Right? And this is this overall synergy that you really want to build. Last time when we were discussing this, I spoke about me wasting a whole lot of time in with NAMIS digging into a specific process or execution when it wasn't necessarily required for me to actually roll out my idea as it was for the first intake of interest, feedback of client, and first qualification steps. Right? So it's very important to always keep that in mind since we're looking at agile execution. Always look at our steps, always factor in time since it's the greatest value that we have. We are needing that time. We are offering that time. We are leveraging that time. So it's a currency for us. And this is also what prompted me to jump in as soon as Robert said, it's my passion. I love it. I can go into and I think we all share this sentiment. We can step into our office, however the zone is set up, right? We can come into this mind state and stay there, stay working because, well, passion. Lately, I've changed a little bit the course of my post uh, from the chapters to the solo tip because it actually has been following through my current and real life endeavors. It's funny, when you put things out in the world, it comes back to you sevenfold. Same applies with us when we're doing business. The more we push in the right way, at the beginning, it might be that build up momentum that we have to endure. But pretty soon, when it starts coming back, because the process dictates that it's coming back as long as we apply it properly, we sometimes will get overwhelmed. Often enough, we come in here wanting 1,000 clients right away. We don't have necessarily set up our process to handle 1, 10, 20, gradually scaling our enterprise, remaining agile while we are executing and optimizing. This is why also I keep hammering this idea behind my train of thought that perfection is a becoming, not a state. If it's functional, I have the obligation to roll it out and look at the impact and optimize it, tweak it, making it more perfect. And guess what? It's never going to be perfect. Why? Because the market keeps shifting. As simply put, every time we come into these rooms, we bring in a new tool. Oh, I started dealing with this tool. Oh, wow, this tool is beautiful. Oh, wow, this is an upgrade from what I've been using so far. Oh, I can integrate this aspect of this tool greatly to my projects. Keisha last time named all these AI, one for video, one for sound, one for ebook, one for website. You have your team, you have your peons in the zone. The flow of the conversation, the flow of the tools, the flow of the information, or the flow of the interest between these different platform and their functionality is what we're discussing right now. Does that make sense for everybody?
Yeah.
Right? It's still a lot of words. Hopefully, doesn't sound like a salad. If it does, you'll come back to this conversation and unwind because I have trust in what I'm saying to be simply logical. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the rhythm. What am I doing every time? Because it's a cycle that I'm repeating, right? Because once I collected interest, once I collected information, sorry, just going to go back to this one. Oops. Once I collected information here, I have redefined my objective and on goes the dance once more. A cycle. Go ahead, Rita.
I'm not going to pretend that I understand everything you said, but I will
Uh-huh.
do what you said, and that is go back over it. So I didn't want you to think that, like, look, I will raise my hand when I got questions, and once I understand, then I'll come back at you. But no, everything was not clear, but please do not go back over it because I will need to do the review. But I just wanted to let you know I'm listening in, following
Huh?
along.
Absolutely. But you know what? Just because you told me not to, I'm going to come back on it. Why? Because repetition is the father of learning, right? This is how. And if there is something that I said at one point that wasn't clear, we're going to take a look at it, unwind it, and double down on it. Which part of what I said brought about the confusion? When did I start for Rita and for anybody that she's speaking for at the same time? Because sometimes we don't speak our mind, but somebody else will. So for you, Rita, coming back to what I was saying, at which point did I start losing you, or when did everything start getting confusing?
I will tell you that what I do understand because I'm not sure what I don't.
Okay.
I understand the flow that
Mhm.
is taking the 5 steps that you have listed. I understand that. But when you
Mhm.
get into the minutia, the fine details of um, how you make that happen, that's where I get lost. I understand the process and I like the process because it looks systematic. That I'm good. But sometimes you say things that my brain will stop and try to think about and put it into context. And then it just kind of goes away because I'm moving on with how you're moving. So I'm okay. I, like I said, I will go back
Mhm.
to what I didn't understand and then um, digest more because that's how I learn. I'll hear it and then I'll go, okay, I need to go back, listen, and thought because what you're saying is seems to be plain. It's just not my language at this point.
No, I understand. Sometimes we want to visually follow and apply as we're getting the information. So going back is fundamentally what you want to be doing.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. And what I'll do is after I answer Vicky, I'll try to visually demonstrate what that means or how does that factor in once you make your choice, the minutia, like you said. Good? I think that will
good.
help go
Yeah,
into that process. Okay.
yeah,
Uh, and you, Vicky?
I'm kind of in the same place as Rita, and I just wanted to let you know that. But I also have missed several of these meetings, so and review plan on doing. I do appreciate very much everything you're doing here. It's hard for me to ask questions because I'm still like taking it all in and absorbing it all because of it is pretty advanced. But I know I have the capability mind to so it's just going to take a little bit more time because I'm a little bit more slower than I'd like to be at tech. So I will get there, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents because I do appreciate this very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for all for sharing. And y- forgive me if I made it sound complicated, but I'm going to demonstrate it or apply this process in what we usually understand the sales funnel approach, which is ideal for qualification and also the conversation around uh, how this transpires in the CRM. That should help clarify, at least at the now site level, beyond integrating any other tool. Would that work for everybody?
yeah. Works
Perfect.
for me, and I'm not speaking for the group. I'm just talking about me.
Yes, me too.
Okay. It's really I'm going to apply this in real time on or go back and forth between now site so that we're looking at a simple execution of this mind frame and also how this transcribed in these different levels of integration. Okay. So first thing first, these 5 steps remain even if I'm looking at my business process or my client journey or building a brand. In this case, we're talking execution, right? So I want to define my objective. In Now Site, as you have come to all experience, and as we are constantly saying, everything starts with the business product. Sorry. All right. Everything starts with the business products. In a sense that if you're not sure about your audience, you're not sure about the strategy to apply, you have that conversation there. Not only that, you have your Now Site AI helping you with the construct of the branding conversation or the marketing conversation. But sticking to the process, the next step is that if I'm going to go into a lead qualification approach, then one of the tools that I'm going to be looking at is going to be the sales funnel, right? At that point, what we are doing, going back to the share and the process, in this case, what we are now doing, since the tool in basic form has established a lot of the information that we need to start talking to the client, a lot of the conversation that we will need to build to bring them to the conversion. The AI will be taking care of that. I still have to bring in these different details. And usually this is something that lines up with your objective or the client that you're trying to qualify by interest, uh, select by pain point, and push by call to actions. So far, so good?
Okay, so if I'm looking at the diagram where you have 1 and 2,
Mm-hmm.
defining your objective, and then if I move to the black box down below,
Mm-hmm.
and the stage 1,
Mm-hmm.
the assessment has to do with the 1 and 2 that are up above about leads.
Here. Well,
It's,
when you're here on this side, what I did is I outlined the business process that you're trying to follow, but
Mhm.
also on the other side, how does that transpire to the end to the prospect journey, right? You're defining your objective, and the fact that you're trying to qualify client falls into specific business needs. For example, if I'm offering financial solutions, I need to know, are you employed or not? Right? If I'm helping people that are unemployed, the fact that you have employment is a disqualification factor. Are you currently looking for a job? Have you had any assistance? What is or what was your last yearly declared income? All usual conversation to start building a financial character for that person, right? So in this approach, if we're looking at our sales funnel, I'm just going to go back to now site. Once again.
So in this case, my objective is to get clients. Is that correct?
Well, we're doing whenever we're marketing, we're always looking for clients, but they all starts as prospects. So we're looking at qualifying leads to eventually turn them into clients.
Okay, so that's where the 1 and 2 come from, by collecting
Yeah,
data. So it's like, what is it that I'm looking for, and then collecting the information or the data or data.
yeah, exactly. Because in this
Okay,
case, we have defined our target audience.
okay,
And now I'm looking at, for example, offering body transformation, body control, or products or solutions.
okay,
One of the first qualifying terms would be, for example, your current weight. And I use body transformation because there's body loss and there's body gain. Some are looking to take weight, some are looking to lose, to shed weight, right? So we're looking at this. Where do you fall on the scale of need and interest? So I have to define my objective. I know that I'm looking for people that have this and this stature, that are looking for this, possibly or naturally to have certain habits or certain precondition that lead to that, right?
okay.
For example, for having exchange a lot with people that have the interest, that similar interest, I learned that weight gain is not necessarily linked to food. It can be linked to diabetes or the medical condition or certain medication,
So
right? So in the scope, sorry?
is that when you would bring in also, do you have a big fork or a little fork?
Yeah. How huge is your plate usually? How many? A simple question. And sometimes there's a lot of method in these simple questions, right? How big is your plate? That is a different. This is a question that trying to gauge, for example, how many calorie intake you're taking on a regular basis, right? Or if you're eating consistently without being judgmental or whatnot. How big is your plate? Because there's an amount of calorie that goes in each plate, right? You might be eating a big plate of salad. Okay, well, look at that. calorie intake. How does that impact? Right? So depending on your objective, which has been defined through your brand conversation, and your audience has been also highlighted through your brand attributes and UVP, you generally come in here with a good idea of what you need to ask. If anything, not necessarily to convert the client, but at least warrant your interest. Right? If I'm offering my time is a value. If I'm offering my time, I need to make sure that each time I do open my space and that you come in, it's beneficially mutually beneficial, right? So you're going to get the support that you're looking for, and I'm going to get the relationship that I'm trying to build. Right. So if you're not willing to answer a few simple questions, and if you're not willing, based on these simple questions, to do that introspection, do the work, and after being brought to an awareness by answering these questions and being tested for the commitment to change by taking this quiz, then I'm open to meet you. Right? So the first acquisition form, do you want to change? Do you really want to make a difference? If so, here's a quick set of questions to start the process. Once that is completed, when they click on the submit button, in accord to what Keisha was asking, I'm going to be redirected to a new page, inner, hidden, outside, depending on how you're lining your process. Because by submitting the form, you have committed, you have crossed that first tier of qualification, soft interest. But you might fill the form today and not really take the quiz the next day, right? Or take it in a week. Until you do, we haven't crossed the threshold for me to pay interest to you, for you to receive that booking link, right? And if you can see what I'm trying to do here, or what we're doing, is following these steps. You have the format and the type of Google form knowledge. We've hammered this in here. That is definitely something that if you forgot, you want to go review. But we covered how to integrate Google form with NowSite or use our own built-in form to collect data. NowSite is its own CRM. So unless I have deeper needs, I can stick to that CRM and not have to expand on other. If the needs require, then I'll bring new tools, new AI on the field in the zone. Right now, in this zone, I can execute with a Google form or my NowSite form, which means that I have a marketing asset. I know that the CRM will integrate into this and will get me to the first list, my acquisition list. If it's being handled by Google form, then this is going into Google, and I have tied in my Excel document that I can export in CSV and bring it back to or in the CRM of my choice. Right? Once I receive this information, whether or not I even choose to evaluate it, the fact that you have gone through the first tier, the second tier, so after submitting this short quiz, you're now going to be prompted for the discovery meeting. And at that point, my CRM, after the second intake, would deliver on the prize, the email to book the meeting. Does that make sense? Does that clarify what we are doing in NowSite or how we are running this operation in simple form?
It makes sense to me, but I think it might be better if they saw like a website and how it was set up. Maybe I don't know.
Absolutely. Let's go to that.
It does
It
make sense.
equates to And we'll get to I'll get a second round of review and maybe roasting for
But
the logo, right?
but
So
I do
far, when
gotta
that
let you know, we
Mhm.
got 10 minutes left, and I do have to get out of here right on time. I've got a one-on-one that I've got to take care of.
No, no, it's perfect. We'll wrap up in the 10 minutes that we have, and tomorrow we'll continue in that. I'll go into the illustration part of it. That will give you all the time to maybe take in this conversation. All the documents that I'm talking about or demonstrating, safe, but the last two slides are available in the group environment. What I also recommend you take a look at before I go into that here, what I also recommend you go and take a look at are optimizing your workflow and the practical exercise, the asset. Okay, take a look at these documents because, in essence, you want to have that locked in when you start going into actively marketing and having your list of asset goes beyond just your phone number, your email. Just the idea of bringing the digital card brings us in line with these tiers of qualification and conversation step. So it is in the Now Site section. These are a little bit older documents. So when you're in the group team session, um, just go back here, team content. You will find these case studies, these past case studies in the third one here. Okay, so you'll have for people that are looking to integrate, you'll have the widget code there. Um, just come back here. So you have the practical asset and the optimization workflow. Review it, I'll optimize and try to simplify it so that we can absorb it gradually. Take a look at it because it's going to be important. And in terms of everything that I was explaining, let's take a look at the rollout here for what we last discussed. By the way, I took in your feedback. And what does that suggest to you now, Robert?
Let me say it. I see the crown, I see the people holding hands, and I see a light bulb.
Thank you.
Aha.
And they're holding hands. No confusion now.
Right.
That is it. That is it. The idea of the crown is the, well, the noble cause that we are chasing here together, independence. Right? I think it's a noble cause to be able to want to achieve financial freedom, life independency, and also to want to pass that on to others. Often enough, people will go into business wanting to turn people into subservient clients, numbers that are running through a system, right? So that is important for me. The fact that to be ethical in the pursuit of our dream, we always have to adhere to royal values, virtues, right? Um, the fact that the crown looks like people is because there are no kingdom without people. And the king is not meant to be elevated by people, but to serve them, to make sure that his kingdom is what it is. And the idea of the light bulb is the creative genius that we want to bring into the endeavors each time we come into this room, right? So that's how I morphed this idea. You hit it with a hammer on the head, Dr. Lisa and Robert. Are they holding anything else? So, and um, there was, I think, the first time uh, and again, this is the important part of this process and the important part of this community. Often enough, you can have clear ideas in your heads, but if you don't put them to the test by sharing them and getting the feedback from people, you can't, they don't really are fully manifested. right? When people get to experience what you have to share and resonate with it, then you are empowered. Your idea takes that shape. And this is the idea or the concept or ending concept around building that community, right? So last time we discussed here, what happens, I want to offer the book. The main goal for me is not the sale of the book, and that's manifested in the fact that I'm offering it as a gift, but it's the end result of building this long-term relationship. Here, I want to see how interested you are after hearing this video, the first extract, and I want you to opt in to that part of the conversation. And if you do, right, the first step for me is a soft uh, step. If I wanted or if needed be, I could ask, are you part of a community before? What is your experience? What are you looking to achieve with this community? Are you actually involved in online marketing? Right? I could have a slew of simple questions there that indicate whether or not I am going to be talking to neophytes, to intermediary, or an elite in simple form. So far, so good?
Yep,
Yeah.
I got to run, brother.
And no problem.
Yeah.
And from that point on, when you submit your information, you move on to the next part. But coming back to what I was discussing, we now are moving across our intentions, right? This is not a quiz, but it's you want to opt in and get the first page. If you do, you're not getting a short, uh, uh, you're not getting a quiz, but you're getting the option of downloading the document. And the document itself has other links to bring you back into the fold of a conversation of a meeting. All
I
right,
don't
so
think we're seeing the
simple
same
step.
page.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm showing the document here. Are we seeing the same thing?
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
thought you were taking us down the website,
Oh, I
you know,
didn't.
with the book.
Oh, well, I invite you to take that journey for the free the pre-read, so that way I can get the feedback as well. But here I'll show you or illustrate here. Well, I'm no longer using that one, so do this. Old reflex came back to the surface. So are you ready to take the first step? In fact, this is a qualification question, a simple one. Do you want to join this conversation? Do you want to join this community? My system is a little slow. We'll let it do its work. You take the commitment. In our CRM with NowSite, I receive a ping. I now am hot on the track of this lead. Next, having built the prospect journey, I know that two things await them. They will come into this space. They will take their download, which has these links that are meant to reward and gratify, consolidate. You got the book. Thank you for doing so. Take the experience of the first chapter, and this is how you get more. The copy of the book has the QR code to bring them into the conversion point, the purchase point of the book, and also explore the rest of the offers. And you can see here the welcome page also has a couple of links that I'm now monitoring. If you came into this first channel and you landed here, you taking the book won't necessarily give me any notification. But in addition to this book, I have other funnels here that I'm now offering. The newsletter, the courses, the YouTube channel, right? The Facebook groups. And if you follow the trail, I am now trying to make sure that I immerse you into the community. Even if this is just a soft acquisition, you taking the next step in the community is also another qualification step. If you took the book and took the step to join into one of these offers for more, then you've appeared twice on my radar across my platforms. I've been tracking also your journey. If you appear on any of these radars link, I know that you are in this CRM and that you appeared there. If you appear there directly, then you're in that CRM and I need to put you in this CRM to expose you to more of these links. Make sense so far? Okay. And as this is happening in this space, remember, we are in a CRM environment. So of course, there is email that is following with generally offered step or specifically targeted steps for the second part of the journey. If you have downloaded the book, the first chapter, and you have read it and are taking advantage of its knowledge, then I encourage you to maybe take this set of quiz, this set of assessment to see where you stand vis-a-vis of this journey. And if you do, there's more surprise. And goes again stage 2. This time through the email, or equally could have been put forward on the website at landing. Take the book, and since you have taken the book after you read it, take the assessment quiz. See how you absorb and how you fall into the evolution or the transformation offered. Make sense? Clarifies the process. Staying in one platform. If you decide to bring
Brilliant.
more, yeah, it's often enough. It's really just I don't even feel that there's brilliance in this because it's really when you clear out the fog of the want, because we want a lot in essence of time, in essence of need, in essence of achieving. We want a lot. And when we get into this work zone, when we get into this lab, we have to make sure that we don't become victims of our passions, of our wants, right? This is when, for example, we'll get trapped in the lab too long, that we maybe will linger on things that are the next level of an execution that is burning on the table to be implemented. Maybe I made it complicated in the conversation, but the point that I wanted to make is if you have an idea, since you have ideas and objectives, and since we already have a good understanding of what it is we need to set forward in pitching these ideas, NowSite, or the first simple tool or suite of tool that allows us to move from the solicitation when we're presenting our conversation to interest people to the first stage of acquisition, of conversion, when we're getting them to opt in into something, and the retention, the immersion in our conversation. Without even bringing in the POS, if our intent is to bring and grow a community, and then look at how we can monetize this community, which is something that we're always able to do once we have decided to bear the mantle of a brand ambassador, of a coach, or just of somebody that is wanting to voice their passion online, these are usually and naturally what you start wanting. I need to voice my interests, and so that the people alike of me will tune in, and together we'll continue to grow together without necessarily an intention of conversion or transactional exchange. Once you've lined this up and that it's running, then we go into the second tier. Okay, well, how am I going to come in and monetize this? This is when these ideas that you have can start running wild. Let me send them this coaching approach. Let me send them this conversation. Let me send them this diet book. Let me send them this nutritional pack. The last one being maybe where the conversion is. Everything amounts to that transaction. Okay, so simplify how you want to come in, how you want to set up your zone so that in the simplest stage, you can actually execute, because that allows you to test the market and bring in that knowledge in to optimize both you and your process. And as long as you stay in that cycle of generating, testing, optimizing, generating, testing, optimizing, you are gradually going into your perfect execution flow. Okay? We'll stop at that for today, and I'll see you tomorrow. Prepare questions then for tomorrow, since I left you today with maybe a few riddles in mind. Prepare questions, how they apply to your objectives, so that I can apply that conversation there, going as far as creating a platform, using and adhering to the NowSite tool. And I'll share these templates for you as well. Makes sense?
So I know you have your new gig.
Yes, thank you.
But if you have time, I would love to get the link for a meeting with you.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Do you mind emailing me so that we can arrange this that way?
I
Because
did
I'm
just
rearranging
that.
my different, I'm rearranging my different emails access and time. So use my personal email. It's the one that I currently you always refer to, ovrg.apparel@gmail.com. Send me a note there. We'll talk and we'll set up a date properly. Works?
Thank you. Awesome.
And I'm always open to that. I'm pretty sure that you guys have my WhatsApp number on one of these digital cards. Feel free, shoot me a message anytime, and we'll arrange time together. Okay, for you, everything. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thanks, Virgil.
You're welcome, Dinah.
Sorry for all of the note takers, Virgil. I don't know why they all decided to attend this one meeting.
It's okay.
The only one I
you're gonna
really like is the Fathom. I don't even know. I have to find the fireflies in that other one and turn them off. But geez.
It's okay. I think it's usually it's in the extensions and such, but no worries, no harm done. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Great meeting.
Thank you. See you tomorrow then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.